time for a What's Up with Nora. Ooh, hey. What's up with that? Ooh, hey. What's up with Nora? Ooh, hey. What's up with that?
No. Well,
What is up, everybody? Oh my gosh, I am so late. I apologize. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm upstairs. I'm going to be looking in a weird way because I tried to set up an external display. It didn't work. I got to put this down a little tiny bit here. And there we go. So now I have me and my chat and most of my controls up on my television screen, which is just past this computer. So, what are we doing today? Now that I have this, uh, you know, fabulous temporary setup, it's done. We are gonna dive into the fifth estate. Okay, this is um, super important stuff. This is absolutely going to be. I've never seen this, so for those of you Canadians who've already seen this, thank you for the suggestion. I'm very excited. But yeah, this is gonna be exciting. We're gonna see what in 1985 this getting clear expose that the Fifth Estate did, what they have to say. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up here. This is very delicate. So while I am, come on back down. Oh, good grief. There we go. Now I'm on it. Okay. Then I have to go. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, see, once I expand this, guys, I can't like move from screen to screen like I can on my computer. Just so weird. Um, Now why can't I? There we are. Okay. Here's everything. Let me come back over to this one. Here we are. All right. Ta-da. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
It was 1949. Up-and-coming science fiction writer Lafayette Ronald Hubbard was 38 years old. He told a group of science
Lafayette Ronald Hubbard. Thank you, Canada. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
fiction buffs it was ridiculous to write for a penny a word. If a man really wanted to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion.
And that's how long that quote has been around, since 1985. Writing for a penny a dollar, that's no way to make money. You got to start your own religion.
5 years later, Hubbard founded the Church of Scientology. For 3 decades, dedicated disciples have been at work getting clear. That's Hubbard's term for eliminating illness and mental problems. And when you are totally clear, you can leave your body and float in space.
Now, that is the promise, guys. That is the promise of the original Dianetics. That basically, Dianetics promised the abilities that are supposed to now be on, operating Satan level 8. Okay. But Dianetics claims that you can do all those things. Yeah.
There's no question that many people have been led away from drugs and other signs of unhappiness while in Scientology. But in recent years, a number of Scientologists have been getting clear in another sense, clear out of the organization.
Hey-o!
They're disillusioned. They see Scientology as a closed and expensive organization that looks on defectors and critics as suppressive persons and enemies.
Yep. Suppressive persons and enemies, guys. That is classic. That is absolutely how Scientology sees people like me, anybody who speaks out at all about Scientology, anybody who has anything to say that isn't, that Scientology made rainbows and kittens fly out of my booty. That's how you're going to be designated, like 100%.
Vi and Ken Elliston live in this North Toronto neighborhood. Their retirement is taken up with their dogs, flower garden, and local
Look at those
Anglican
puppers.
church. Their only daughter, Lenore, married Larry Brown, a computer programmer, 14 years ago. The Ellistons were comfortable and content. But 4 years ago, things changed. They say it started when their daughter joined the Church of Scientology. They don't see much of Lenore anymore.
So there she is. That's like at the beginning of her Scientology journey. You can always tell somebody like really at the beginning where they have like that glassy eyed look. Now, this is also her wedding day, so she's probably super, super pumped also. But yeah.
Nor does her husband, who says their marriage is falling apart. They blame the Church of Scientology.
I've noticed if I tried to sit down and talk with her, part of her
Oh, interesting. He's not a Scientologist. Okay.
wants to respond to me, but the other part, the part that I feel she's acquired from Scientology, suddenly takes over and she can't.
It's just money down the drain. Every bit you give them's down the drain. It's not going to do them any good. That's the way I feel. And they got her brain in a way that they just want the money.
I gave her the $1,500. And 10 days later, she was back to the house with a fella, which at this point we did not know what she was in with. We did not.
So her mom has already given her $1,500. And of course, the very next day, that wasn't good enough. Oh, your mom has lots of money. Let's go talk to her. She should have given you more. This is, you got to get more. There's never enough. Never.
Not know. And they were asking me for $16,000. And I said, Lenore, $16,000?
$16,000 for what?
What in the world do you want $16,000 for?
Exactly.
And her explanation was that she wanted to become clear. And now, really, at this point, I still didn't know what she was in. And when I refused her the fact that there's no way I'd give her $15,000, this fella immediately said, well, if you haven't got the $15,000, would you take a mortgage out in your home? And I said,
guys, how many times have we said that the sales tactics don't ever take no for an answer? This is 1985. When she got in, it was the 70s. Would you take a mortgage out on your home?
definitely not.
Good for
And
you,
I said,
lady.
well, my husband would become worried sick if that was ever thought of giving her that much money and having to take a mortgage out. And when we refused, they immediately said, well, can she have her inheritance? And I said, my heavens, I'm not dead yet.
She made the mistake of telling these people that her parents have money, that upon her parents' death, she's going to receive X amount of dollars, and they want it right now. It's urgent. The planet is going to die. Now, you have to realize in the 70s, L. Ron had written a policy called 30 years, okay, in 1970. And in that directive that he wrote, he claimed, very unscientifically, with no proof, that in 30 years, planet Earth would be uninhabitable. And so the rush to clear this planet, right, to nullify those effects was urgent. And also we had to build Scientology big enough so that we could have a rocket ship to escape to Target 2. So she's under the delulu that Earth is dying. I mean, it's kind of true now, but that's a whole different thing. And we're in the year 2025. Anyway. And that by the year 2000, no one's going to be able to breathe air. There'll be, so much crime. People can't leave their house, whatever. All of the apocalyptic scenarios. Okay. This lady, I'm loving her. She's reminding me of my grandma so much right now with the curls. My grandma wore wigs, and her wigs looked like this woman's actual hair. Also the glasses. My grandma had like the butterfly ones that were big like that, but the frame came down the bottom and then went over. Like it's giving grandma core. I love it. Yeah. Let's continue with this beautiful lady here.
And it was unreal. So if she has found the right road, why would she want all this money?
Yeah.
Why would she want it?
Did you three consider that perhaps Lenore has found something that satisfies her, something she can commit herself to, that makes her happy?
But what she says she thinks she has and what she's doing, it doesn't add up.
But it seems to add up for Lenore Brown.
So now here she is. I want you to notice the building that she's at there. This says Golden Era Studios. This looks like it's somewhere at the big blue building. So I don't know if the Golden Era Studios were there at that time, or that's just a building in Hemet that I'm not familiar with. So it looks like she has joined the Billionaires. Now in the 70s, when you joined, your spouse did not also have to join, right? There was a time period where there were people whose spouses were never, part of the billionaire thing. So this looks to me 100% like she's living at home with her husband, which is what people did. But she was actively, or this is a picture of her from later or whatever, however they're telling the story. But yeah,
She wouldn't agree to talk to us on camera,
of course
but she
not.
said the church has given her life purpose, and she couldn't possibly
See, you see the gold strip there on her arm? This is giving early Sea Org uniform. Absolutely.
give it up, not for anyone. She is so committed to Scientology.
See, and look at there it is. That's Cedars of Lebanon, like right after they bought it. Just check it out. It's huge, funky Dianetic sign up here. This is Sunset Boulevard, the road in front there. Yep. Yep. That's what it looked like when I was a kid.
She went to church headquarters in Los Angeles for a year of advanced study.
Yep.
This is the Toronto Church of Scientology.
Look at
where
it.
Over the years, a lot of people have paid a lot of money to better themselves through Scientology. Passers-by are drawn in by offers of a free personality test or the persistent pitch of
Sir, put that down.
Scientologists working
Don't
the
use
street.
that.
The sign says this is a church, but there
Look at those shoulder pads, guys. Look at the iconic hair, the popped collar. This is like fucking 80s. I love it. She's like giving working girl. This is rad. I'm loving every moment of this.
is divided opinion in Canada as to whether it is or isn't. Here in Toronto, no church pays property tax. The Church of Scientology does. But it doesn't have to pay any income tax because it's incorporated as a non-profit organization.
Okay, so they're not recognized as a church, so they have to pay the property tax, but they are a nonprofit, so they don't pay the income tax. Interesting.
But a donation to Scientology is not a deduction on your income tax return because unlike
Aha.
most churches, it's not a registered charity. And if you want to be married by a Scientologist, you better go to Saskatchewan or British Columbia because only there are they registered clergy.
Interesting.
Church.
Okay, so at this time in 85, Scientology's existence in Toronto is like this much, right? So by that I mean like legally. They're not recognized as a church or a charity, but they do have nonprofit status, but your donations are not a deduction. So they live in this little tiny loophole where at least they don't have to pay income tax, but everything else is fucked for their members. They can't even marry somebody. They're not even recognized as clergy. Like, this is sad. It's giving sad.
Officials in Toronto would not allow any members to talk to us about Scientology or tell us how it has helped them. So I approached the church as anyone else would, in the street. Stephen Hall told me there's a chapel inside, but Scientologists do not pray in a traditional way. If you don't really pray to God, what do you do in the chapel?
There are certain scriptures and
What, in the Bible?
references. No, in the writings of L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, so the Bible.
Is that Steve Hall? Steve Hall, who was at Gold later and has a whole website up now that talks about the truth about Scientology? Is that who she's talking? I mean, he's so young here. It could be. I don't know. Maybe somebody else knows. That's crazy. What's happening? When was this? 1985. You popped the collar on your Izods all the time? Yeah. Hello, Iceland. Listen, Shaniran, am I saying that right? Shaniran Bo. Shaniran Bo. I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong. I want to go to Iceland so bad. It's okay. Oh, Shane Rainbow. I'm trying to make a whole name that doesn't exist. Sorry, Shane. That's a place I want to go. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to shake down old people out of their retirement, out of their kids' inheritance. Like, give me a break. Shoulder pads and fair hair. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, guys. Get your membership. I love that you left, Donna. Good for you. Good for you for not getting sucked in. I know the cars were rad sauce back then. I agree. Your grand had pearls too. Sorry, Shane. I think you should go by Shaniran. It's a new name. I just made it up. Yeah. Just call you Rainbow. Okay. Okay. Now I'm never gonna not see Shaniran. Oh, the year you were born, Dylan, 1985. All right, yo, we baby. You cut all your shoulder pads out. Guys, I could not abide by shoulder pads. Like, even your small shirts would have shoulder pads in them. I just think when a lady like that can rock it, it fucking works. But I always thought that I looked ridiculous in that, like it was just never my personal jam. Okay, I'm glad I can control up here and do this. All right. Oh, can I come back or no? Oh, I can. Look at me.
It's not a factor in your service.
Jesus Christ does not have anything to do with Scientology. Okay? Mind you, there are a lot of Christians in Scientology. My dad is a Scientologist, and he's also a born-again Christian.
Why is it? It's quite expensive. Why is that?
Some of it is because it takes so long to train a person to really run these processes. They're just amazing stuff, right? And it takes a few months. Just using the book Dianetics.
He's so enthusiastic, this kid, whoever she's talking to. She said his name was Tom Hall. I'm going to go with maybe it's the Tom Hall that I'm thinking of. I mean, the sideburns kind of match. I don't know. Oh, hey, Stacy. Thank you for being here.
The first 5 hours of simple Dianetics
is
like
well, you're good.
$60, which is leagues above what any psychiatrist or psychologist has been able to do.
You know, when I read this book, it was some years ago.
Yeah.
I stopped, as I'm doing now,
right.
And I took the test. I took and I don't know. I went away because the man said that I have such incredible problems that it would cost so much money to fix. It was like $1,000 for the first.
Number one, if you could become clear on $1,000, I'd go to the bank and borrow it right away.
Now, notice that if you could become clear on $1,000, if it only costs that little, I'll go to the bank. So it's way more money than that. Look at young Lafayette Ronald. Why are we in triplicate? I don't like that. Ugh. Hang on. Why is this like I'm on the screen of the screen of the screen? Oh no, this is bad. Oh, we're not. We're not. You guys can't see the other thing that I'm seeing. Only me. Okay, we're good. Oh, never mind. How do I get back? Hi, Charlie. How do I get back over here? There we go. Okay. Yep, that is young Lafayette Ronald. Banging away at his keyboard. Let's hear what they have to say.
L. Ron Hubbard, the center of the universe for most Scientologists. He was a science fiction writer whose big break came in 1950 with his best-selling book, Dianetics, in which he explains that negative or painful experiences, even from previous lives, are considered great stumbling blocks on the road to spiritual freedom.
Deep stuff. Deep stuff. Hi, Charlie. Charlie has come. She's come to help me with this life. Hi, sweetheart. I love you. Love you. I'm going to get her on a WALK here, guys. 1 second. Come on, baby girl. Come on. Can you take her? Come on, baby girl. Let's go. Go downstairs. Thank you. She was coming over to tell me very gently that it's that time. Mom, it's that time. Hi, Toby.
The ultimate goal is getting clear by purging these experiences from the mind. Hubbard developed
1 second. Come here. Charlie. Charlie, come on. Let's go. Let's go, baby girl. Come on, down. Yes, good girl. Come on, all the way. Go on. Hi, buddy. Okay, sorry. Oh, dogs. Here we go.
a kind of relentless confessional procedure called auditing to eliminate those negative memories. During lengthy one-on-one.
That's a great description, though. Relentless procedure. I would definitely describe auditing as relentless. That is perfect. Perfect description of it. I'm just gonna put some. Oh God, that's so much better. Put some couch pillows behind me here. All right, here we go.
Auditing sessions, the Scientologists are bombarded with repetitive questions concerning their most private personal problems. Hubbard, who says he's
Have you lived before this life? That's in German, but that's the name of that book. Have you lived before this life? These are all the books and how they looked in the 70s. I don't think they sell that book anymore. Yeah, they don't sell that one anymore. Kind of like, what a great cover. Don't you just want to pick that up with the Grim Reaper and a ghost walking through a graveyard?
been to heaven twice, refined the auditing process with the e-meter, a portable electrical device about the size of a large cigar box.
Yeah, it measures actual physical universe mass. Pain, okay, is actually a physical universe product, right? When it's like two forces collapsing together, and there's forms a ridge of energy, and these ridges of energy are stored in our minds, and this.
So two things coming together forms a ridge of energy, and then that is what's stored in your mind, which is not your brain. It's up here, it's somewhere external, because it's not part of your body. Don't forget.
Meter can actually read it. So a clear would just have no mass in his head. It would be totally.
And what does the e-meter have to do with my becoming clear?
It locates your moments of stress.
Oh, it's like a lie detector.
Yeah, but it makes a lie detector look like a Cracker Jack prize.
It makes a lie detector look like a Cracker Jack prize. Yeah. It's just, I'm loving the way he's candidly talking to her, because this is how they get people, just chit-chatting for however long it takes.
Really?
The person being audited holds on to two soup cans attached to a meter which monitors stress.
Look, guys, literal soup cans. Literal soup cans. Somebody fucking ate some chicken noodle soup, washed that shit out, and brought that to the church, and that's what they're using.
Levels. In 1972, a U.S. Court of Appeal judge said church claims about auditing and the e-meter are false, a fraud. Over the years, Hubbard has streamlined the e-meter and improved on Clear. Now his followers, with the help of advanced Scientology courses, can get totally clear, enabling them to control the actions of others, control the weather, and leave their bodies.
Notice how they're crediting Hubbard with doing these things. In 1985, where was Lafayette Ronald? Anyone? Class? Dylan, is that actually Steve Hall? because she says it's Stephen Hall, but it looks like him, right? I'm going to pull up his website so you guys can see who Dylan and I are talking about here. Oops,
Have you-
sorry. So Steve Hall would be this gentleman. So that's the Freedom Magazine. We're not going to look at that. He used to have a whole website. Where did he go? Website. I forget the name. Dylan, what's the name of his? Dylan knows the answer. Creston, yes. Oh yeah, there would be people would have to really scrape it off. Otherwise you could. Yes, an RV in the desert, correct. Here we go. Who is Steve Hall? No, that's not his. This is a Scientology website that they put up. There we go. Scientology-cult. This is the website that Steve Hall did. Yes, it's the same guy, guys. There he is. Okay. This is him during his Scientology days. There he is in 2004. Now he has no facial hairs. This is 2009. Yeah, same guy. Same guy. There he is sitting with a bunch of suppressive people, you know. But this is Steve's website. If you guys want to go, it's Scientology-cult.com. Let me put that in the chat. But this is the website that he made to talk about his time in Scientology and everything else. Yeah. So I thought it was him. Dylan confirmed it. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah. What? Scientology is in Iceland? Where? Where? I'm mad now. I'm mad. Because that is don't wreck Iceland. Where is it? I bet it's a front group. Let's find out together. Mm-hmm. This is a bullshit article on Scientology's website. Don't be talking down about Odin and Thor. That's all I gotta say. And Loki, man. Mm-hmm. More stuff about paganism. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't say why they are there. This is from 2022. Talking about how people are starting to worship Thor again. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I will do a deep dive on that. But apparently they're recognized in Iceland. We'll get into that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What do you win, Dylan? I'll have to send you some donuts or something. I agree. I love Thor, especially the Ragnarok version. Yeah. All right, let's leave you up there. And here we
Have
go.
you left your body?
Not me, not yet.
Scientologists like Stephen Hall bring in recruits at church centers around the world. The organization boasts a membership of 6 million in 35 countries. But critics say that figure is grossly inflated. Inflated or not, the church has money and lots of real estate. In Los Angeles, the
Yeah, those two things, absolutely true. Money, a boatload of real estate. Yes.
former Cedars of Lebanon Hospital is now the church's international headquarters. In England,
See, that was before they got the other building, right, down Hollywood Boulevard on Hollywood and Ivar, right, which is the Hollywood Guarantee building, okay, that they purchased and where they have, that's where the middle management is and the international representatives, okay?
Scientology owns this stately manor and castle at St. Hill in Sussex.
Mm-hmm.
They have estates and mansions around the world. The church even has
Look at that funky bullshit sign on the sign of Celebrity Center. Because this is just a few years after I bought it. This is when they were still in the middle of renovations on the Chateau Elise. Jesus Christ, look at that. Come into the Scientology open house. Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
celebrity centers, like this one in Los Angeles, where they display photographs of some of their more famous.
Look at all the people that they claimed as famous people that were doing Scientology at that time. I think there's like one of those people left because they weren't claiming Tom Cruise yet. Probably Chick Corea, who's now dead. I think that's him in the upper right-hand corner. And of course, everyone's favorite, John Travolta.
Members, among them musician Chick Corea and actors John Travolta and Karen Black.
Yes, Karen Black. Man, what a wackadoo lady. I taught at the school where her kids were going, and she decided to direct the school play. Let me tell you, if you guys have never, ever gone down the YouTube hole of Karen Black's absolutely just horrifically bad B-movie career, do yourself a favor. It is wild. At one time, I think she could act, and then she was too much of a Scientologist. But yeah, she was talking to these children as if she was producing an Oscar-worthy, Tony-worthy play with small children. It's just like, oh, we just had an earthquake in Alaska. Okay. Well, batten down the hatches, babe. The tsunami's coming. It didn't work. I tried really hard and then it wouldn't turn on. It like the computer was like, okay, but I couldn't get it to turn on. It's over here, but I don't have a receptacle for that one. Oh, so it has to be plugged in twice. Okay. Well, I'll try it again later. Okay. No, you're good. But I've got this. I've got the whole TV, guys. I got 65 inches. You guys are enormous. Enormous. Okay. Our coast is not going to be affected. Okay. So I think we'll be fine. Was Karen Black as crazy as the characters? Yes. In my opinion. Yeah, she was. As we used to say in the 80s when we were talking about someone who was a little off, she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's, yeah.
This plush office at the Los Angeles Celebrity Center waits.
Okay, that's not the office. That looks like it's on the second floor. Because the office that they gave Lafayette Ronald later has no windows in it. It's an interior room that is right when you come in. But that, my friends, that looks like the second floor before they repainted it. Or maybe the third floor. Yeah, that's not the one he has now.
For the return of L. Ron Hubbard.
Every
He's become
place
a real
has got
mystery man. He hasn't been seen in public since March 1980.
So at this point, This mystery man is missing for 5 years. He's just a mystery man now. No, the man is going cuckoo cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in Creston in a fucking Bluebird RV, writing pornographic novels about space invaders. Okay?
His son, Ronald DeWolf, thinks his
Poor Ronnie DeWolf. This is when he was still alive. R.I.P. Ronnie.
father, now 74, might be dead. But a letter signed by Hubbard and dated July of this year was recently sent to church members. We had a handwriting expert study it. She says there's no doubt it was written by Hubbard. The organization's chief spokesman is...
That's the horseshoe entrance. Look at those cheese doodle awnings that used to be on there. My God.
An 18-year veteran with Scientology. Heber Jench, international president.
Here he comes.
I sign the bank accounts. I sign all the corporate agreements.
Yeah. Listen to Heber, guys.
I sign the corporate papers and so forth. Mr. Hubbard has a right to his privacy in America.
Look at his arms. Guys, look at the body language here. Heber knows good goddamn well at this point that Hubbard is cuckoo cuckoo. He's got dementia. He thinks space cooties are all over him. And he cannot, right to privacy. It's a right to privacy, right? It's a right to not be the I'm the representative of Scientology. I run the show. Notice he fully discloses that all of these entities of Scientology are what? Corporations. Okay. Thank you, Toby. That was a very aggressive boop, guys, from Toby. Can you toss this for me, sweetheart? Can you put the ice in the sink and then toss the cup? Thank you.
Because America has a constitution, and that constitution is still validated and still recognized.
So he's not hiding out.
You know, he's still writing. He's got a bestseller.
Right, Dylan, how long do you think that SO1 was doing LRH's handwriting, doing Lafayette Ronald's handwriting? Because that's a very distinct handwriting style. Yeah.
And he'll have 10 more bestsellers coming out within the next year, starting October the 1st with his Decology. No, I don't write or hear from Mr. Hubbard, except that Mr. Hubbard knows where we are. And
he doesn't write or hear from Mr. Hubbard. Sir, you are the president. You are the president of the Church of Scientology International, yet you are not in contact. Are you okay? You are not in contact with the founder of said church to find out if anything that you're doing is true or correct.
he has a right to his privacy.
Well, critics insist Hubbard is in hiding to avoid legal problems.
Yes.
Several of his former aides have sworn in court that Hubbard channeled millions in church funds into his own pocket.
Yes.
The U.S. Internal Revenue Service is after Scientology for back taxes.
Yes.
And then there are the lawsuits. This is a part...
Look at this list of lawsuits right here. There's the Christofferson suits, okay? The United States Treasury. Look at all these lawsuits, guys.
Special list of more than 100 court cases, most of them launched by Scientology against its critics. But now dozens of ex-Scientologists are suing the church, claiming they've been defrauded and harassed.
Why do you spend so much time in court? This organization has a lot of court cases.
Oh, I think if you look at 600 organizations and you look at the Fortune 500 sort of profile on major corporations in the United States and how much litigation they handle, you'll find that ours is really quite small.
So Heber comparing Scientology to a Fortune 500 corporation. Again, it's a corporation. It's not a religion. It's a business. So, you know, even though we have hundreds of cases pending against us constantly, that's small by comparison, right?
A former church member was recently awarded $39 million by an Oregon jury. But last July,
it's Oregon, but that's okay.
A U.S. judge declared a mistrial. The church scored another victory recently when the Ontario Supreme Court ordered the return of some of the thousands of documents seized by the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police. The documents were seized in this raid on Scientology's Toronto headquarters in 1983.
Look at that. Look at this, guys.
19 people were charged with theft, possession of stolen documents, and breach of trust. Roy McMurtry, Ontario's Attorney General at the time, ordered the raid.
But what I found interesting was that you mentioned the OPP, a wonderful group of...
Yeah, and you know me. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's the only song that's playing in my head right now. Oh my God. Sorry.
I won't say fascists because it gives fascists a bad name.
He's going to compare a law enforcement wing of Canada to fascists. Okay.
But I will say this, they didn't work for Canada. McMurtry, in response to me personally, indicated that the FBI and the IRS were involved. Now, so American government manipulating Canadian officials, is that what you want? And they ran your government, and they ran them in on that church.
Look at him starting to shout at this woman and point at her and just be so rude. Like, this is just, wow. Wow. This was a huge campaign at the time to stop what? Oh, right. Of course. Can't have Scientologists reading the paper, Dylan, because then they would know the truth of all of the corruption. Yeah. No. I know. It's the Ontario Provincial Police, but we all know the song I'm talking about. Yeah. Now I got to go back over here and press play. And then I can go back over there.
I would like
No, they ran them in on that church.
McMurtry, now Canada's High Commissioner to Britain, denies the FBI or any other U.S. government agency orchestrated the Toronto raid. Despite the court cases and bad publicity, life goes on for the Church of Scientology. Recruits keep coming in and the cash follows. It's all part of L. Ron Hubbard's written policy.
See, and this is, look here. Make money, make more money, make other people make money. I mean, like, yeah, it's all about the money. It's not about freedom. It's not about religion. It's about money.
As president of the organization, then, do you still hold with Mr. Hubbard's policy of make money, and then make more money?
Oh, I see. Well, you know, I don't know who told you that? Who'd you talk to?
It's wrong?
Is it wrong to make money?
No, is this quote...
Do you make money?
Is this
Hannah,
wrong?
Hannah, do you make money? Is it wrong to make money? How do churches exist?
Notice he doesn't answer the question ever. He's just going to try and attack.
Frank Watson knows how much Scientology costs. The 68-year-old chiropractor from Langley, British Columbia, joined the church in the early 60s.
Well, it's probably cost about in excess of $300,000. That's counting time loss from the office and what I spent in Scientology.
$300,000, y'all, in 1985. Fuck. They love chiropractors, guys. They love chiropractors.
Expenses and traveling and the whole thing.
Frank Watson joined Scientology thinking it might rescue his shaky marriage and improve his practice. He took Scientology courses in Washington, D.C. and Vancouver.
I had advanced enough to go to England to take what they call a special briefing course. And that required a year.
Yes.
And I'd saved enough money to go, and my daughter went with me.
So this is a mortgage package.
Watson's daughter, Laurel Sullivan, is 36 now and a partner in a California advertising agency. But she was just a teenager when her father introduced her to Scientology.
I did originally question it, but you see, when you're 17 years old and you idealize your father, you don't ever think that he will lead you to something that could hurt you.
That's Laurel? Absolutely. Because what? Because our parents I gotta sit up more. Our parents are supposed to protect us, right? As a parent, that's your job. That's your only job. That's your number one job. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent is protect your child. Why would you ever think that your dad would be involved with something that was harmful? So he took his minor daughter out of Canada to England to go study at St. Hill with Hubbard, because that's where Hubbard was.
You are totally open. I think that it's important to understand the subtleties of what happens in your mind. A gradual progression of leaving the group of your family, friends, society into an inner circle of another reality. Ex-Scientologists often refer to it as the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Yeah. You are absolutely in another universe. 100%.
Hubbard, by the late 60s, was in trouble with British authorities and had to leave his Sussex headquarters. He bought a cattle ferry and converted it into a private yacht called the Apollo. It became Scientology's floating headquarters, and the crew, an elite group, had to swear allegiance to Hubbard by
There's another copy of the billion-year contract right there.
signing billion-year contracts. Laurel Sullivan signed willingly.
So this 17-year-old goes to England and ends up being part of the OG Sea Organization. Holy shit.
At the time, it was very secret that he was on the ship. I was one of the first 45 crew members, and there was great status in going to be with him. To be near Hubbard is considered tremendous.
This picture.
There's Hubbard. There's Lafayette Ronald. Let's hear who's in this picture besides him with his red hair there.
Picture of happier times aboard the Apollo shows Sullivan in Hubbard's inner circle. She rose quickly within the organization, eventually becoming Hubbard's personal public relations officer. Her job of selling him to the public was becoming more and more difficult as the church's legal problems mounted.
So this is, now you have to understand, in the early days, there was a job that Mike Rinder did that he's, he likes to say that this was his main job, was just the L. Ron Hubbard personal public relations officer. Okay. And that person is basically took over from what Heber was doing as the president and became the person that would go before cameras, that would handle all of the public statements and all that stuff. But he was also doing that job while he was the head of the Office of Special Affairs. All of these things stem from the same department, from the same area. Okay. So she was the person who had to whitewash all of his bullshit while he was on the boat. Okay.
I admired his genius and his brilliance. I did not agree with a lot of his practices or his moods, and I also recognized him as an eccentric.
What kind of moods?
And a recluse. Well, he can fly into a rage or turn around and hug you in a...
That sounds not great when you're stuck in the middle of the ocean with somebody. How'd you like to have that person as your spiritual guide? You never know what you're going to get. Awesome.
Kind of a split-second timing, or accuse people of trying to kill him, or trying to poison him, or trying to do him in, or trying to make his life difficult, or to prevent him from getting his due from Scientology financially, or some such. He was very accusative, and he had enemies, and he felt that governments were against him, and that psychiatrists were against him, and that the public at large were a great duped mass, and that the only salvation for them was him and Scientology.
This sounds a lot like paranoid schizophrenia, right? Like, I'm not, a psychiatrist or psychologist. I certainly can't diagnose anybody with anything, but that is what that sounds like to me. That that he was a paranoid schizophrenic.
Sullivan's father, Frank Watson, also made it aboard the Apollo. He learned about church discipline and justice. Breaking Scientology rules meant being tossed overboard, a 26-foot drop. Frank Watson, then 51.
Guys, literally tossed into the ocean. Thrown by your fellow guys. You okay? Okay.
Was thrown over 5 times.
You could object about going overboard, but you went overboard anyway. And the loyalty and the regard that you feel for Hubbard was so strong that, well, you just went through it. But if you made more than one mistake, your feet were tied. And if you made more than 2 mistakes, you were blindfolded, but you were still tossed overboard. Now
So you weren't just tossed overboard, guys. Depending on how many mistakes, your legs would be bound, or you'd be blindfolded, or maybe both. Into the ocean, guys, into the ocean.
the tying, it wasn't tied up real tight. It was just...
Look at him trying to justify this action. Sir, somebody tied your legs together and they threw you into the ocean.
Token tie, so that when you did hit the water, it came undone. Same with the blindfold. But it sure wasn't pleasant. There was a lot of human waste from the ship dumped into the Mediterranean. The ship was anchored at a pier, you see. And you're going down into this stuff, and there was...
So let me get this straight. You're sitting at a pier in the Mediterranean. You're just dumping all your fucking literal poop and piss right into that marina. And when you're being thrown overboard, not only are you being thrown overboard into a marina, which by itself is filth and disgust, but into your own shit. This just keeps getting worse, guys.
It's a lot of intestinal and digestive upsets as a result. So this was, eventually it was...
Well, yeah, you're swimming in shit.
Stopped.
Frank Watson became disillusioned and left the church. His daughter, after 15 years in the organization, was also having second thoughts. Gerald Armstrong, another Canadian on board the Apollo, provided Laurel Sullivan with the reason to get out. He was a fiercely loyal and dedicated Scientologist. He was not only married aboard the Apollo, but Hubbard himself gave the bride away. Armstrong's job was to gather material for a Hubbard biography. He went to Laurel Sullivan when he found out the leader was not everything he said he was.
Okay, here's, well, I did not know Jerry was part of this interview, but here's Jerry back in 1985.
He was twice pronounced, medically twice pronounced dead, and kind of raised himself, cured himself. He was crippled and blinded and cured.
These were claims that Lafayette Ronald made, right? About his time in the military.
Cured himself with the antecedents of Dianetics. He was an atomic physicist. He was a great scientist. He was a great philosopher. He was a great researcher. And it turned out that he was never crippled and blinded. He took one semester of molecular phenomenon at George Washington University in 1932 and got an F.
Yeah.
That makes an atomic physicist? It doesn't.
Armstrong gave 12 years to Scientology. Now he felt betrayed. He left in 1981, taking stacks of files and documents with him.
See, no one really cares if L. Ron Hubbard did these things. No one cares. But to maintain the lie in the face of irrefutable documentation, that's madness.
The Church of Scientology...
See, and here's the deal. Jerry makes a good point there, that the true followers of Lafayette Ronald wouldn't have given 2 shits about those claims. If he had never made those claims, they would still be sucked in. But he made all these totally hyperbolic, total bullshit claims because he was pumping up his own, he's padding his resume to make himself look like a legitimate person to speak on the universe, to speak on all of these things, which was never the case.
She wanted those documents back from Jerry Armstrong, so they took him to court. After a 6-week trial here in Los Angeles, Superior Court Judge Paul Breckenbridge ruled that Armstrong was justified in taking those documents because he said it was the only way Armstrong could protect himself against an organization the judge described as paranoid, schizophrenic, and lusting for power.
Yep.
At every step throughout Scientology, there are drills or training routines which one does. For example, for the Intelligence Bureau, I did various things.
Yes.
Types of drills, how to lie, how to not answer a question, how to get your statement in without answering.
Yep.
How to intimidate a person like yourself.
What would you do? How would you handle this?
You're finding out from Gerald Armstrong that L. Ron Hubbard is a fraud, then it would be attack Gerald Armstrong, and it would be attacked vehemently. And if I could not shift the way that you were perceiving me, then I would go after you. I'd start to point, and
He's just describing what Heber did in the earlier interview.
And I would get louder. It's called caving in the anchor points.
One of the key guys, your Jerry Armstrong, your Canadian friend you mentioned to me, etc., who was my former step-son-in-law.
You haven't mentioned him yet,
You mentioned him to me on the phone.
Oh.
My former step-son-in-law, who I know very well, who was nothing more than a clerk, besides being a spy for government. And we're going to bust that guy's back, legally, in court.
Well, why is the church fingering you then? Are they afraid of Jerry Armstrong?
They feel that they have to undo the Breckenridge decision, Los Angeles Superior Court, a decision of June 1984. That was devastating toward Hubbard and devastating about the organization. It showed what the organization was up to.
I remember as a kid came after me with a knife, right? I took that and I smashed that kid and knocked him out. And I'm still alive, okay?
Now we're going to make a point. Pop, pop, pop.
Because I'm not going to allow some thug to come up against me and do that kind of a thing. And whether that's someone in government or whether that's some individual who says that I don't have a right to live, right? That's what's happened.
This Scientology document has frightened some members who have left the church. It's the
So you can see here, this is early policy letter. This is before the ethics book comes out. All of these things. There's no treason. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's treason, liability, treason, doubt, enemy. Treason moved down below enemy later, and then confusion. Because it's liability, doubt, enemy, treason, confusion now. So this is a very early issue of this from 1967. Yeah. Enemy, SP order, may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientologist without any discipline of the Scientologist. May be tricked, sued, or lied to or destroyed. That practice and belief about enemies of Scientology still carries through to today. Still carries through to today.
fair game policy, which said enemies could be sued, harassed, destroyed. The church doesn't use the term fair game anymore, but critics like Laurel Sullivan insist the policy is still in effect.
They have declared me an enemy on an international written order for my quote-unquote crimes in Scientology or against them. No, I'm sure that they were terrified. Not that I left, but of what I knew about the organization.
Oh, sure.
How did they deal with that?
Well, I've been sued twice for testifying in cases and to government officials.
Both cases were dismissed in California courts. Were you frightened? Are you frightened?
Yes. I've been tailed. I've had private investigators looking for me. I've had private investigators go to my employers trying to find out my whereabouts.
PIs following her, going to her place of employment, like by any means necessary, y'all.
They've called my family. People who were Scientologists tried to get me fired from my job. There's a number of things.
Do you know who these people are? Do you see them? Do you know?
Yes. Oh, yes. I know who they are. They know who they are. It's all on the record.
Nan McLean of Sutton, Ontario, has kept her...
Now, look at Nan. We saw her in 1973. This is her now in 1985. Let's listen to Nan.
Her own records on the Church of Scientology. She was a member for over 3 years before she left in 1972.
You're an analytical woman. You're a clever woman. You're a tough woman. Nobody dragged you kicking and screaming into Scientology.
Oh, no, I just walked in, put my money down, said I want it.
What did Scientology want from you?
My soul, my money, and my energy, my life.
Look at her. That's what I'm saying. Spitfire. Look at her.
Completely.
And what were you willing to give them?
All of it. I did a lot of things for Scientology. I broke the law, for instance.
How did you break the law?
I was ordered to go to a bank and falsify my income, falsify my employer, in order that I would be acceptable as a guarantor for 2 separate Scientologists' loans.
That's called bank fraud. That's credit fraud. Right there. She's admitting to it. When I say that I want people who were in these spaces, like Laurel, like Nan, okay, who did these things for Scientology, I want that story. What Nan just said, that's what she did. These are the things that need to be told so that Scientology as an organization, as a corporation, and David Miscavige and all of the entities can be brought down for the crimes that they commit and that they're making their members commit.
I signed my name to that falsification of records, and the loan was granted the Scientologist.
What troubles Nan McLean more than anything is that she brought her husband, 2 sons, and a daughter-in-law into the church with her.
My daughter will tell you a very interesting thing she told me. She's the one and only that didn't come in. She said, Mother, I have always known you to be the most honest person I have ever known. And now you're telling me it's okay to lie for Scientology. That's when I began to look.
Look at that. This is what I'm saying, guys. When we're talking to Scientologists, they are individual people with a past, with an entire personality that they were before they got into Scientology. And because her daughter had so much respect and love for her, she could tell her that. And that's what got her to start thinking. We have to speak to them at their core to get right down in there into who they really are in order to reach them.
God, that still hurts.
Nan McLean's son, John, is an elected councillor in Ontario's York County. He was an 18-year-old honor student when he entered Scientology. He was equally anxious to get...
Look at all this hair John's lost in 8 years. My goodness. Same guy, though, we can tell.
Top marks in the church, and it wasn't long before he was aboard the Apollo, where he and Gerald Armstrong became friends. As third mate, John McLean was in charge of internal communication and discipline.
Did you ever order anybody overboard?
I personally did not, no. I put people in the chain locker and confined people to cabins when they wanted to leave.
So he kidnapped people. That's what he just said. But again, he's saying what he did.
I did that. I physically forced people by taking their hand to sign documents that they wouldn't attach.
He physically forced people by taking their hand and like moving and making their signature on things.
Or sue the Church of Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard, which was the documentation that had to be signed before they were allowed to leave the ship. And I put the fear of Hubbard in them. No one could leave the boat without L. Ron Hubbard's permission in writing to leave the boat.
No one could leave the boat without without Lafayette Ronald's permission. in writing. It's the same way now in those blue buildings, in the Celebrity Center, in any location. You cannot leave that property without permission in writing to do that.
Passports were locked up all the time.
It's like everything I've been saying is totally true. Yes, they lock up the passports.
You had to do a report as to why you wanted to leave and get it approved by your superiors all the way up the line, right to Hubbard.
Yeah. Now, he said report. It's a request because the thing you have to write is called a CSW, completed staff work, right? And it's written in report form. You write the situation, okay? So you give the situation. I need to go to see my mother, right? And then you give the data. Oh, my mom's dying and she's in the hospital. They told me she has 2 weeks to live, so I need to travel to go be with my mom so that I can tell her I love her before she dies. That's the data, okay? And then the solution, you write, allow me to go see my mother in whatever place she is. And then you say, this is true. And then you sign your name and then you put approved or not approved. And you have to send it, like you said, all the way up. So anytime I wanted to do something, it had to go from me to my direct superior, who was the course room supervisor, to the director of training, to the director, to the Division 4 secretary, to the supercargo. No, not to the supercargo, to the chief officer, and then to the commanding officer. That's 6 people that I would have to ask permission to do anything that took me away from the organization for any period of time, including getting the guaranteed day off every other week.
I was called upon to betray a fellow Scientologist, to betray his whereabouts. And I was ordered and told that it was by L. Ron Hubbard's order that I divulged this information.
And did you?
No, that's why I left. I could not betray my integrity again. I walked out.
Good for her.
And an ethics order, a treason, suppressive person, enemy order was put out on me. We had many threats as a family.
Over the years, the church has unsuccessfully sued Nan McLean and her family 17 times and
17 times. 17 times, y'all. That's just by 1985. I think they did more lawsuits later. 17 times. That's a little more than petty vindictiveness, in my opinion.
buried them once. It was a mock funeral in their hometown of Sutton. Scientologists carried a large coffin and handed out a press release attacking the McLeans.
So they had a mock funeral for who?
Clearwater, Florida, 1975. Scientology made a big noise in this quiet retirement town. Using a different name, the church bought a bank and a hotel.
All of those buildings you see now are owned by Scientology.
For $3 million cash. Many in the community were outraged when they learned the organization was moving to Clearwater.
Look at the protest from Clearwater. Look at that. It's like everybody in the town showed up to be like, not today, Satan.
There were public meetings and anti-Scientology rallies.
L. Ron Hubbard has stated that Scientology is extremely wealthy, that it has the money to buy cities and even countries. That destructive cult has to know. Let us make it perfectly clear for once and for all that sparkling Clearwater is not for sale.
Sparkling Clearwater is not for sale. Look at all those people, man. Where the fuck did they go? They left.
And John McLean went to Clearwater to tell their story.
Scientology has physically harassed us. It could happen here. I'm not saying it will or it won't.
Gerald Armstrong was then still in Scientology, and his former friend was now his enemy.
And in fact, a couple of us kicked around the possibility of being issued a gun and go get John, because he was that, we viewed him as that type of an individual. It was.
So in 1975, when Clearwater's having this protest, and John McLean, who worked on the boat with Lafayette Ronald and Jerry Armstrong, some other dudes and Jerry Armstrong at that time in 1975 were just throwing it out there. Maybe we should get a gun and take care of it by any means necessary. All the churches are still armed and dangerous, guys. Do not kid yourself. This was not just the 70s.
Totally okay to wipe out John McLean because he represented a threat to the organization, to Hubbard.
John and Nan McLean were not physically harmed, but they were harassed when they spoke out against Scientology at a public meeting.
We seated the audience, and we were each prepared with a specific question to ask.
So seating the audience, right, means that there was people planted in the audience, Scientologists, OSA members, Guardian's Office members at that time, so that they could viciously attack Nan and John from the viewpoint of being just a concerned public.
John or ask Nan McLean to something that we would know about them to embarrass them.
You're talking off the top of your head. Better ask your son. You tell me what about
you
what?
You are framing him then. There is no
Are you
law.
accusing me of stealing? Because I'll use it in court against you. Are you sure? I want as a witness to know. Are you telling me? Are you saying?
See, now look at John use his Scientology training against the Scientology plant with no qualms. Yeah.
That I stole? I'm asking you. No, I want an answer from you. I'm asking you. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Answer it. No, I didn't steal. Fine. All right.
When I saw Jerry and other people that I knew, I was quite frightened, I guess, from the standpoint of I knew there was a possibility that people that I knew would attempt to harm me, as I probably would have done if I was still in Scientology to somebody who was out. I feel that brainwashed that I would have done anything for the organization.
Why do you keep on? Why do you keep on talking against Scientology?
This is a great question. Listen everyone to Nan.
Because I feel that the people need to be educated. I feel the people have a right to know what their families are connected to.
I'm not a crusader for other people that want to get involved. Mother is. And she wants to crusade to try and show people both sides of the story, which is admirable, because there are two sides to every story, but in this case, there's only one side as far as I'm concerned.
And that side is?
Well, that side is a bad side. That side has really hurt me in my life, and I just want to put it aside as a past chapter.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm doing this is so that other people can realize that what it can do to a person's life in a long term, and it's 13 years. That's a long time.
And Nan McLean was speaking out about Scientology, as far as I know, until the day she died, which was 2019. So that's a long time. That's a long, long time. That is 43 years. Are you okay? Okay.
In spite of her family's objections, Nan McLean continues to offer advice to anyone who seeks it. Over the past 2 years, she spent many hours with Ken and Vi Elliston.
Nan has helped us greatly. When we were devastated, we were calling her all the time. I'm so glad she put up with us, because she sort of led us the right way, and we felt a lot better because we had somebody to turn to. And I'm still turning to her, and I do hope that one day that I'll be able to get Lenore to come to the house and have Nan here. But if I do this, Lenore will know that there is somebody here for her to talk to.
Now, this time her husband's still with her. They're still married. I don't know what happened to Lenore. I don't know. If Dylan's still here, do you know Lenore? Do you know what happened?
And
But you're working against Scientology. You're becoming her enemy.
Well, if I can help somebody else. We have been devastated with this. We really have.
Perhaps Lenore won't want to talk to you. This may be your best shot. What would you want to say to her?
Well, it's pretty hard to say what you're going to say until you're sitting talking to her.
What if she doesn't want to sit and talk to you? Maybe this is your only opportunity now to tell her.
Well, we love her. Very much.
That is, that's a lot. That's a lot. As a mom, I feel that tremendously. Yeah. Yeah, let me see. I gotta move this, guys. Hang on. So I'm not just staring at the TV. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. I want to take all of this. There we go. Now I can just see you guys here. Let me pull the comments over here too, so I can see those. Here they are. Wunderbar. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. And hang on. It's down in the cabinet there by the right underneath the dishes drying rack in the container. There's a, yeah, sorry. One of the children wants to cook. They're making muffins. That sounds good to me. So yeah, I'm all about that. There we go. There's my banner back. Okay. Here we go. My goodness. That was a lot, guys. That was, yeah. Let me pull up your comments and questions here. How about if I spell comment right? Here we go. Hi, Aubrey. Hi, Amber. Hi. Oh my goodness. You love my facial expressions. Okay. Thank you, Kelly. I remember Celebrity Center when it had the green shag carpet and huge and gold and huge yellow flowers wallpaper. Yep. That's back in the day. What's Old Sparky, Amy? What does that mean? Too many families don't know how dangerous it is. This is very true. This is very, very true. Let's get to your questions here. Yeah, you did feel the glue sometimes if they weren't cleaned properly enough, and then people would throw them away and say, oh, it's, we just have to get new cans. That's the problem. Would Juliette Lewis's father be on that wall? Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Jeffrey Lewis. Yes, he would have been on that wall. I know he's an actor, but I'm not sure if, yes, that's how she got in. She was born into it like me. Hi, Michelle. Do I think it's helpful to second? I hope so. I hope so too, because knowing the history has helped me to like release myself from it, guys. Like I know this is not the politics channel, but I just got Howard Zim's, book about American history, and I'm in the first chapter. It's already blowing my mind. Knowing the past fully is a way to understand the now and figure out what's going to happen in the future, because it all keeps getting recycled around here. Have I seen the 3 or 4 videos that John did with Mark and Janice on peeling the onion? No. Okay. That sounds like that would be interesting. Yeah, I met John because he came with Nan to Toronto in 2015, the same time I met Jerry. and Hannah and Spanky and Tori in real life for the first time. I also met Tony Ortega then. Actually, I met him twice. Once there and another time when he was with Paulette Cooper on the Unbreakable Miss Lovely tour. I got her to sign my copy of Scandal of Scientology. So I loved that. That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's hot here too. It's hot here too, man. It was 99 earlier. That's why I'm not in the garage, guys, because it's too hot down there. No, Nan passed away in 2019, Stacy. Oh, you had that book too? Okay. Yeah, I'm learning about the I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. Oh, Old Sparky is the electric chair. Okay. Yeah, that's wow. Amy, bringing out the big guns today. How do you say that? Is it Pequot? Pequot? I don't want to say it wrong. I'm not saying that right. I don't think so. I know. I'm sorry I missed Amber too. I love Amber. I hope that she's still here and she saw me say hi. Oh, thank you, Kathy Ann. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, Bo. Let me check in here. I've been not pulling up the word member. As a kid, I remember those Dianetics commercials. Even as a kid, it made my spirit very uncomfortable. Yeah, well, yeah. Gina Freya has been here for 6 months. Thank you, Gina, for being a member. And my mods put out okay, that's Iceland. But you guys can join up. You can become a member. We're doing a members only Zoom at the end of this month. At the end of this month. What's up, Yadira? Pequot. Pequot. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Aubrey. I don't want to say it wrong. And often I pronounce things in a very I called Shane whatever I did, that was a weird word. I just made up words. I don't know. Guys, we're going to keep doing this deep dive. We're going to keep on this road here. There's so much to cover. We will do more tomorrow. I have a live scheduled on my other channel. Obviously, I'm going to have to move that because it's after 4 now and I was supposed to be done already with this. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll get back to America tomorrow. America's a mess, y'all. That's it's a mess. We'll get back to it tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Nan's amazing. Anyway, guys, thank you as always. Where did I need my cursor, guys. There we go. Thank you as always for being here. Thank you to my mods who are the best in the business. Okay. And yeah, I'll see you all in the flippity dippity.
Thank you as always to my mods for keeping this stream right and tight. Thank you for all of you viewing and the truth that we're constantly trying to bring out here on this channel. Please go see my other videos, click that link for my link tree, and I'll see you next time on the flippity dip.